Okay, so here we are. Um, so I've been a amateur mycologist since Thanksgiving 2023. Pretty much my entire time doing this. It's all homemade equipment, from what you can see. And I started off, just like everybody else did. I started off on the Uncle Ben's tech, which is a tech I don't use anymore. I hydrate my own grain, and I'm still new enough at it where I'm bouncing around trying to figure out what grains work for what and experimenting with different mushrooms. I have had quite a bit of success doing this, but there's some I'm still struggling with and trying to figure it out. I'm not trying to get too much on my plate at one time. The ones I got figured out, it's pretty much second nature and pretty easy. So it's a fun hobby, and I keep getting more and more into it every day. Everything I have is pretty much makeshift, whatnot. So I just wanted to share this Uncle Ben's tech with you, because if you're into this like I am, it's like you watch hours and hours and hours of videos, and you just pick up a little bit here and there and whatnot. So I started off the Uncle Ben's tech, probably just like most of people getting started in this has. Now I've seen, as many ways to do this as you guys have. I've seen everything. The one I really liked, and I didn't have much success at it. So right now it's still in the factory square block. So the one guy, and I did pick up a really good tip from it. It was a video on YouTube that I really liked his advice, and I just took it a step further, because I'm one of them people. I'm always thinking outside the box and trying to, do things cheap as possible and smart as possible, because some things just don't make sense to me. So this particular fellow I'm talking about, I think he called it a smush and twist or something like that. So just like any other bag, whether it's clear or this one, you don't want just grains hanging in the bag. So his theory was shove all the grains down so you can kind of feel in there and tell what grains are hanging up. Just make sure you get them all smushed down, because they are contamination points, even if you do everything right. So the reason I don't use the Uncle Ben's technique, I haven't had a lot of success at it. I've had a lot more success making my own grain jars and doing it in mason jars. That's been the best technique I found so far. But I've recently graduated to the pressure cooker bags with the filter patch already on them and whatnot. So anyway, getting back to this fella, I thought it was a really good idea. This is all experimental still. I'm still very, very, very new at this, and I'm always wanting to try new things. So what this fella said was, smush up the bag and get it down there, and then he twisted them. It's like a smush and twist or something. But what the one thing the guy did, which I did see in future videos after watching, God knows how many hundreds of hours of videos on how to do this and come up with better ideas. The guy cut the corner off and then just put a piece of the microcolor tape over the corner. It's like, that's brilliant, So my point is, and what I'm getting at here, is they use the you get your scissors or your knife or your scalpel or whatever, and you use your, I hate this word, I've watched too many hours of videos, this stuff that you use repeatedly. The word irritates me anymore because I've heard it so much in these videos. I think I've heard isopropyl alcohol more times than I've been called an asshole or dumbass in boot camp when I was in the military. So that's my word you'll hear me use very often. We all know what it is. So normally you would, go through this process, whether it's the scalpel or the scissors, you do all the sanitation. And, that just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me so you got to sanitize these tools because it's a risk of contamination, right? Blade, you heat it up with your torch and the flame, you do your thing. And it's like, why? Have you ever looked at these bags and, there's this little notch in it? What's that for? So I decided I would use it, and because it makes more sense, because I can cut out, one chance of contamination. But I took that a step further too, because the Uncle Ben's tech tells you, so you sterilize your bag, you spray it on all sides, you get your paper towel and saturate it, you make sure everything's sanitary. I mean, that's all great, you got to be sanitary. I don't disagree a bit, because it just flat out won't work. If you're not clean, you're going to fail. So, after you put the stuff in the spray bottle, and you wipe everything down, you go through all the normal steps. But the glory of this is, even after you wipe everything down, you're sanitary like you have to be. You can't shortcut. I'm sure we've all figured that out. We've been doing this long. So everything's wiped down good. And the other thing they tell you to do, so not only are you going to cut the corner of the bag off with a potentially contamination hazard, now you got to do the same thing with your needle. You heat it up, you melt a big hole in your bag, because we're all impatient, So I've seen guys just use that as the air exchange. But normally they tell you to put a couple holes up top, put your micropore tape on it. It all sounds ridiculous to me. So, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the Uncle Ben's Ready Rice. So my whole point in doing this and shooting the video is because I probably won't use this in the future, possibly ever again. But I just recently ordered 3 new syringes, and one of them being the cordyceps, which is a very interesting one to me that I'm interested in growing, because I'm just kind of getting bored with the run-of-the-mill mushroom growing. So this one's interesting. It's not just shoot a couple cc's of solution into a bag. These are a little bit more complicated. If you've ever looked into them or are interested in growing cordyceps, researching this and getting all the stuff together and running here and there and everywhere, and some of the stuff's pretty expensive. I feel like Doc Brown on Back to the Future, building a plutonium bomb for the Libyans. It's like there's so many ingredients in it. It's not just like making peptone or agar. But there's shortcuts there. But you know what shortcuts get you in this business. But this is a shortcut. I am 100% sure that, man, I'm taking 2 less risks right here and right here of contamination. So what I've done with the Uncle Ben's bags, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm still trying to learn, or thank me if you think this is a good idea, give me your opinions. I'm an open-minded person. I take constructive criticism very lightly. So what you do is you do away with your needle, you do away with all the things, cut the corner of the bag off, and we'll get a piece of micropore tape ready here. So I did myself a favor and I forward over the end. You'll find that out real quick. So I'm just going to get this ready. I'm going to take 1 piece. I mean, some people say use 2, use 1. I guess I'll use 2 on this. I mean, I'm sore on that idea, but I don't use micropore tape very often either. I got filter patches or whatnot to do the job usually. I do most of my stuff in just sealed containers when I can. That's your least risk of contamination. So I'm just going to put this off to the side. I'm going to put this off to the side. So what my plan is to do here, because this is an experiment, like the ones I've seen them do with cordyceps, I've never grown them before, so I'm not real sure how this is going to work. So I crunched one of them up, so it's not in the factory press block, and I'm going to leave one that way to see how it goes. And I have some other harebrained ideas I'm going to experiment with. Like I said, by all means, I'd appreciate, any kind of good feedback. I'm not a YouTuber, so if you watch any of my other videos, you'll know that. But I am very passionate about mycology, and it's like I love learning about it, and I'm hoping to meet some new friends and just simply share my experiences with you. Like I said, I know nothing about this, but I know where I failed. I know what doesn't work. So I'm getting to it. This is a tough one to multitask when you gotta watch your hands and sanitation and everything. I'm not a big public speaker either, so I'm just hoping this is a nice little trick I can get a couple compliments for, and see if I can get more than 20 views like my shitty pickleball videos, which I am pretty good at. Just I'm not too proud to show or say that there's people out there better than me. I pride myself on what I can do, but I don't down other people that are better, which some people have a hard time understanding that. So I got my piece of micropore tape ready. I got my cordyceps ready. So, with a concoction that they have you make for this stuff, the reason I'm trying this is I've seen people do it just like any other mushroom. They shoot this in there. It makes your nice little mycelium block, and you carry on and you do everything else like normal. So I want to experiment with this to see, it's like, why am I buying, kelp and, putting, half my peptone in there for my liquid culture, and, giving an arm and a leg and taking a loan out for, kelp powder and this and that. It's like, how basic can you keep it and still grow quality? So my goal is, I do have a list of about 6 things I'm going to put into it. Like I said, this is surely a experiment, because this is all the mycelium I have left, and from what I've gathered, cordyceps take quite a bit of liquid culture to get it going. So that's why I'm probably going to use. I got 8 milligrams left, milliliters left. So I'm going to probably use 3 and 3, and I'm going to save 2 for some other agar cups. I already have some started, and I got some liquid culture started, but this is a game of failure, so I'm trying to CYA, so I don't have to buy more, because the only reason I have time to do this is I'm out of work because I had a badly broken arm not too long ago, and I have limited function, and I can't do my normal job. So we're going to sanitize everything here again, since I've been talking so much. I am wearing a mask because I am talking. I normally don't wear a mask because my makeshift flow hood actually looks pretty well. So we'll get back to it. So I got my cordyceps here. Give it a good shake. I don't think it's going to matter a whole hell of a lot. But I'm going to put in 3 cc's in this Uncle Ben's bag. So what I'm excited to tell everybody is, so we got these notches. Like anything else, I'm going to try to be kind of quick at it here. My flow hood does work well. I've been using it recently, and I'm pretty happy about it. So, keep it close to your flow hood like anything. And where that notch is at, if you actually look at it, you can make I'm going to tear this, and you can make it as big as you want. Just make sure your micropore tape is going to cover it. I only need enough to squirt some solution in it. So I'm just going to rip the corner off here, like this. I'm not going to use any tools, because of the risk of contamination. So we're in front of our flow hood. I mean, you can do this in the still air box, and then we're going to open our liquid culture syringe, and I'm just going to open this up enough to squirt 3 cc's in it. So we're at 8, that would put us at 5. Well, almost. I missed a few cc's there on the table. So in our cut area here, I'm going to have to use 2 pieces on this because there's a sloppy tear. If you're interested how this turns out, just out of sheer curiosity, I'm not going to post a video unless somebody asks. But I'm kind of bored with the run-of-the-mill stuff I've been doing. So I could do some YouTubing if it was. I'm a very prideful person. I'm not too proud, but I like compliments like anybody else. So please share your thoughts about what's going on here. So the air exchange happened pretty quick there. I'm going to go ahead and just throw another one on there. Probably get a couple more ready while I've got my fingers going. Try not to miss the hole so bad next time. I missed a lot of liquid culture in that last bag. I'm watching too much. Try and get a cleaner tear this time too. I swear I've done this before and it's worked just fine. So we'll just give her a little safety piece there to make sure she's filtered out. So in the end, basically that's what it looks like. So it's covering the entire, exposed area with the micropore tape. So I'm gonna see if I can do a little better job with the one that's still factory. I'm gonna wipe all of this. That's not good. I should put that back on immediately. I was distracted by the miss spot. Thank God I started plenty of this earlier. I'm not worried about this taking off. I started several agar cups and 2 600 milliliter liquid cultures. I've never had any problem with either one of them taking off. That's how I reproduce a lot. I buy the little kits out at Walmart and Target, and I grow the at-home grow kits. And after you grow a few mushrooms, even if you only get one out of it, you can always clone it and put it in agar and duplicate pretty much anything you can find. It's a little bit more difficult, I found out. Wild mushrooms, I have not done that yet, but I haven't pushed it either. But I have done some dried mushrooms from the store and some other things I didn't know you could do. I just kind of did it out of curiosity, I guess. Another good habit I should get in so I don't make a mistake I just did. Even after doing this for 6-8 months, I still make ridiculous mistakes. That's why I need good equipment, because I'm too dumb to follow rules. So like my sterile tools and whatnot, I do like to have a saturated alcohol rag and keep it covered up. So we're going to see if this run goes any better here. I said I don't normally do the Uncle Ben, so I'm a little dumb when it comes to this. Let's grab this stretch paper towel. Lightly spray this. cultivation. My college is not for you. I've probably done more failing than I have success. No, not really. If I get ahead of myself and you make a lot of mistakes, and this says, let's try this again. So you pinch it off maybe a little bit, and on the corner where you're going to rip it, that might help maybe guide your rip and keep from sucking air in. I mean, you only need a pinhole. Some of the videos I've seen, they just take the needle that they're inoculating with, and they just poke like 3 pinholes in it up at the top after they mush all their grain down in the airspace, and they just put a piece of micropore tape over a couple holes. So the rip in the corner has got to be plenty sufficient. So that one came out a lot better. So we're just going to take a piece of this inch wide tape, and I'm going to wrap it right in there and then attach it back to itself. So we got one layer there. I'm just going to go ahead and throw this other one on since I have it handy. And it seems like 2 layers of micropore tape never hurts anything. So screwed up. Try to see. That's what I get for talking at the same time. Shouldn't contaminate. I'll probably put some liquid mycelium in there. So we're going to do another 3 grams. I'm just going to put it right in this hole. I'm normally much quicker at this, but like I said, I'm not a big public speaker or YouTuber, so you don't do this for a living, you know, like some people. They're not used to making videos and people and shit. 2 layers of micropore tape. It should still be alright. So if you're interested in how these come out, like I said, I'm probably not going to do it for 1 or 2 people, but if I get enough interest, I'm interested in making more videos and answering questions about the mistakes I've made, and, you know, what'd you do here, what'd you do there. I said I've had nothing but time and money, you know, in the beginning of this to pretty much do whatever I wanted. But I've been out of work for a few weeks, and I'm looking at doing this possibly for a hob, maybe a little extra income. So let's see how this turns out. But I mean, I just think that's just common sense right there. That's probably the best tip I ever learned is common sense prevails in this business. So common sense tells me don't, you know, introduce contamination factors to something you don't want contaminated, you know. So why would you use metal tools that you have to sanitize? You got to sanitize them because it's a potential dirty tool. So don't use the tool. Everything inside this bag is sanitary. So if you rip the corner of the bag off with sanitary gloves, that's just kind of a no-brainer to me. Tell me what you think. Like I said, I appreciate any good feedback. Wherever I screwed up, besides not inoculating it the first time before I put the micropore tape on, let me know. Have a good day.